The curfew lesson. This is Scott Conway with mothersraisingsons.com with a discussion on curfew. Now, I get this question a lot. Parents have talked to me about how do I handle curfews for my son, how do I handle curfews for my daughter. Now, in general, if your son is going to be the girl's ride, that he's going to go pick his date up, he's going to be dropping her off, that his curfew needs to take into account the fact that he will be dropping a girl off at her home and then coming home after. So say, for instance, if you might expect her curfew is 12 o'clock and it's 15 or 20 minutes to get to your place, you might have his curfew at home at 12:20 or 12:30 if you're going to maintain a curfew. And that'll vary greatly based upon what the after prom activities are. Generally speaking, of course, you want to make sure that your curfew is at least extended late enough if you still have one for your son so that he can get to the end of the prom and not have to be rushing to drop her off and rushing to get home. Now, one of the suggestions I typically make is essentially lifting the curfew to kind of conform with what's going on around him, his social experience, his social situation. So if the school is hosting an after prom, it's going to go on all night until 4 in the morning. Well, you might not have a curfew for him at all. If there's no official after prom and there's no activity going on that you really sanction for your son to be attending, certainly maybe for your son to be taking a girl too, you might have your curfew set maybe an hour or so or 2 hours after the prom. So there might be time to go out and maybe get a dessert somewhere and linger or hang out with friends and then just come home later on. But here's one of the curfew tricks that I teach. Is in this day and age, we've got smartphones. I've got my smartphone right here. And one of the things that I could do is, of course, stay in touch with my son and say, all right, you need to send me a text. And so long as you send me the text within a certain amount of time, then we're good. Now, in my particular phone here, that you can click this little thing, a photo, take a photograph, and we have actually at times said, all right, all you have to do is when we send you a text, just take a picture where you are. And it has nothing to do with whether we trust you or not. It's just a way for us as parents, first off, so that we feel good, and so that we feel like we're being good parents. And if other parents or your grandparents or anybody else questions us on, we can tell them what we do. And any parent would have to admit, okay, if my kid's sending me a picture, obviously, I have some idea where my child is, and I can tell my child what to take a picture of, where they're at. They can't even preload a bunch of pictures and just send us the one that they want to send us. And so these are things that we do to help keep track of our kids. Now, we rarely have actually used it, but they know that we reserve the right to do so. And part of it depends upon where our kid is and how sure we are that there's nothing else that's going to kind of suck our kids' attention and pull them off in different directions. But in general, when you're dealing with a high school prom, you really have to take a look at the curfew issue in terms of the fact that they're adults or newly adults, and that the prom really is a big deal. So you look at what's going on, you look at the official activities, you look at the things that you're going to sanction your child going to, and you kind of set your curfew accordingly. And remember, if your son is the date's ride and she's expected home at a particular time, of course, then your son's date is going to be ending not too long after that. So you might decide, okay, for the sake of your son and because you have the policies and procedures in place and you're going to have your son send you short videos or send you a text or send you a photo based upon wherever he's supposed to be and whatever he's supposed to be doing, and you're comfortable under those circumstances, he can stay out all night if he wants to. But his date has to be home by 1 a.m. or something. Then, of course, you should expect your son to be home in a reasonable time after dropping his date off. So this is Scott Conway with mothersraisingsons.com with a quick lesson on curfew, which, of course, doesn't have to be limited to prom. You can use some of these things for curfews in general, for attending any party, so that you can make sure that your children are where your children are supposed to be and just be comfortable as a mom. And this is actually one of the ways my mother always delivered this to me, is to be comfortable as a mother. That it's about me being comfortable. It's not whether I trust you or not. It's just that moms worry, and that's just part of what moms do. And this is what my mother always told me. And I'm not checking up on you because it's a trust issue with you. I'm checking up on you because it's a feeling issue for me as a mom. And if you can express it in some similar way that suits your relationship with your son, then most sons understand, okay, I'm doing this for my mom. It's not about, the trust. It's about, me, respecting and honoring my mom so that she knows that she can be comfortable giving me more and more freedom. It's just one of the things I do so that I continually prove to her that she is exactly right to trust me. And that's part of how you deliver it to your son. This will help me prove to myself and prove to my friends that even though, I'm the mom, this is what my mom always said, is you will always be my baby boy. I will always remember the day I gave birth to you. And part of me will always remember being pregnant with you, holding you for the first time, no matter how old you are. And by the way, I'm 48 right now. My mom still remembers that. Sometimes she still refers to me as her baby boy. And I understand what she means by that. There's just still that mom reflex that my mother still has. And I get that. And so you can help your sons understand that even though emotionally they're still your baby boy, you understand they're growing up, they're a man, and this is just helping you feel more comfortable. That yes, they're showing you clear evidence that you are right to be treating them as a man. And just let them know that as a mom, this is just something that you need as a mom, regardless of whether or not they can be trusted. It's not about them, it's about you being comfortable. And maybe based on your relationship with your son, that will really help them understand that and to conform with those desires. So this is Scott Conway with mothersraisingsons.com with a lesson on curfews and something you can use with any event, any party, any curfew policy that you may have with your child. Thank you.